The age of imagination has become the age of transformation. For centuries, the idea of connecting the human mind to a machine existed only in science fiction. Visions of people communicating with computers through thought, uploading their memories, or achieving digital immortality. But in 2025, that fiction is turning into fact. Right now, scientists and engineers are developing brain-computer interfaces capable of reading neural activity and translating it into digital signals. Companies like Neuralink and Synchron are already testing implants that allow people to move cursors, type messages, or even play games using nothing but their minds. The line between biology and technology is beginning to blur, and what it means to be human is being rewritten before our eyes. Imagine sending a thought instead of a text. Imagine backing up your memories like files in a cloud. Imagine a world where consciousness isn't bound by flesh. This is the dawn of the mind-machine era, a moment that will redefine identity, morality, and the very essence of life itself. The question is no longer if we'll connect our minds to computers, but what will become of us when we do. Welcome to Self-Unlocked, where science and ancient wisdom unite to help you unlock your true potential. Before we dive in, I want to take a moment to thank you, every subscriber, every viewer who comments, likes, and shares these videos. You're not just watching, you're helping build a community of seekers, thinkers, and transformers exploring the hidden mechanics of the mind, body, and energy. Together, we're learning how thoughts shape reality, how frequencies influence emotion, and how to awaken the true self within. Stay curious, stay conscious, because your journey to self-mastery starts right here. For as long as humans have looked up at the stars and wondered about their place in the universe, we've also dreamed of transcending our biological limits. From ancient myths of gods merging with mortals to the alchemist's pursuit of eternal life, humanity's deepest desire has always been the same: to become more than human. In the 21st century, that age-old dream has taken on a new form: the merging of mind and machine. The idea that technology could one day merge with consciousness isn't new. Visionaries like Nikola Tesla, Alan Turing, and later futurists like Ray Kurzweil all spoke of a time when artificial intelligence and the human brain would intertwine. Kurzweil called it the singularity, a future moment when human intelligence and machine intelligence become indistinguishable. Science fiction, from The Matrix to Ghost in the Shell, imagined it vividly. Humans plugged into vast digital networks, blurring the boundary between real and virtual, flesh and code. But the dream isn't just about power or curiosity. It's about survival. Our biological brains are extraordinary, but they are limited. We forget, we age, we die. The brain, with all its complexity, can hold perhaps 2.5 petabytes of information. Roughly the capacity of 3 million hours of TV shows, but it's fragile. A single stroke, a degenerative disease, or a memory lapse can erase decades of experience. The merging of mind and machine promises something beyond evolution: the ability to preserve, enhance, and expand consciousness beyond the boundaries of the body. Imagine a world where your thoughts can interface directly with the internet, where creativity isn't limited by typing speed or language, but flows effortlessly from thought to action. A scientist could run complex simulations by visualizing them. An artist could paint entire worlds with a mere mental image. And beyond that, what if your mind could live forever, stored in a digital realm, continuing to think, learn, and evolve long after your physical body ceases to exist? This is the ultimate promise of the mind-machine merger: digital immortality. The ability to upload human consciousness into a synthetic medium, perhaps a computer, a quantum network, or even a robotic vessel, has become one of the most compelling frontiers in modern science. It's a pursuit that touches on the deepest philosophical questions. What is consciousness? Can it be transferred? Is a digital copy truly you, or just a sophisticated simulation of your memories? Today, we are taking our first tangible steps toward answering those questions. Brain-computer interfaces, BCIs, are already translating neural impulses into digital commands. Artificial intelligence is learning to interpret brain scans and mimic human thought patterns. And neuroscientists are beginning to map the brain's intricate neural architecture with astonishing precision, an essential step toward any form of mind uploading or digital integration. Yet, behind every technological breakthrough lies a deeper, almost spiritual motivation. Humanity's quest to merge mind and machine isn't just about innovation. It's about transcendence. It's about overcoming death, merging with intelligence beyond human limits, and bridging the gap between matter and spirit. Some see it as the next phase of evolution, the birth of Homo technologicus, a species no longer bound by the biological constraints that shaped us. Others see it as a dangerous path toward losing what makes us human: emotion, unpredictability, and the organic chaos of life. Either way, one thing is clear. The dream of merging mind and machine has escaped the realm of science fiction and entered the laboratories, startups, and neural research centers of the real world. The future we once imagined is no longer centuries away. It's unfolding right now, neuron by neuron, line of code by line of code. And as we step closer to that horizon, we must ask ourselves not just how it will be done, but why. Because in merging with the machine, we might not just reshape the future, we might redefine what it means to be alive. At the heart of the mind-machine revolution lies a deceptively simple question. How do you turn thought into action? The answer is the science of brain-computer interfaces, or BCIs, technologies that decode the electrical language of the brain and translate it into signals a computer can understand. While it may sound like science fiction, the science behind BCIs has been steadily developing for decades, combining neuroscience, engineering, and artificial intelligence in ways that are transforming our relationship with technology. The human brain is an astonishing organ, composed of roughly 86 billion neurons, each firing tiny electrical impulses known as action potentials. These impulses are the foundation of everything we perceive, feel, and do. When you decide to lift your hand, for example, specific neurons in your motor cortex fire in precise sequences, sending signals down your spinal cord and into your muscles. BCIs aim to capture and interpret those electrical patterns, creating a bridge between intention and digital execution. There are two primary approaches to capturing neural activity: non-invasive and invasive BCIs. Non-invasive BCIs typically use electroencephalography, EEG, caps that sit on the scalp, detecting electrical signals without penetrating the skull. They are safe and convenient, but their signal resolution is limited. In contrast, invasive BCIs involve implanting microelectrodes directly into brain tissue, allowing researchers to record thousands of neurons simultaneously with high precision. While more powerful, these implants carry greater surgical risk and require careful biocompatibility considerations. Once the brain signals are collected, the real challenge begins: decoding the language of thought. Raw neural data is complex, noisy, and often chaotic. This is where machine learning and advanced algorithms come in. Computers are trained to recognize patterns in neural activity, linking specific brain signals to intended movements, words, or actions. Over time, the system adapts to the unique neural signature of each individual, allowing increasingly precise and natural control. The applications of this technology are already remarkable. Early experiments in the 1970s demonstrated that monkeys could control a cursor on a screen using only their thoughts. By the 2000s, paralyzed patients were operating robotic arms to feed themselves, type messages, and even paint. In recent years, BCIs have evolved beyond movement. Researchers are now decoding speech, reconstructing auditory experiences, and even mapping emotional states directly from brain activity. In 2023, scientists successfully translated continuous neural signals into text, essentially enabling a brain-to-text communication system for patients unable to speak. Another key innovation is bidirectional BCIs, which not only read brain activity but also stimulate neurons. This creates a feedback loop where the device can provide sensory input or correct neural patterns, opening possibilities for treating neurological disorders, restoring vision, and enhancing memory. Such interfaces could eventually allow humans to experience digital sensations directly in the brain, blurring the lines between reality and simulation. Despite these advances, the brain remains incomprehensibly complex. Each neuron can connect to thousands of others, forming trillions of synapses that constantly adapt and rewire themselves. Capturing every nuance of thought or transferring consciousness itself remains beyond our current capability. Yet the rapid progress of neuroscience, coupled with breakthroughs in AI and computing power, suggests we may be approaching the threshold of what once seemed impossible. BCIs also raise profound questions beyond technology. What does it mean to have your thoughts interpreted by a machine? Who controls the neural data, and how do we protect the privacy of the mind? The science is remarkable, but it carries ethical, philosophical, and societal implications that we are only beginning to grapple with. Brain-computer interfaces are the bridge between our biological reality and the digital future. They translate the silent symphony of our neurons into actions, words, and experiences that machines can understand, and eventually, perhaps, into consciousness itself. By decoding thought and connecting it to technology, BCIs are not just tools. They are the first steps toward a new era where the mind is no longer confined to the body, and the boundary between human and machine begins to fade. The dream of connecting the human mind to machines has moved from the pages of science fiction to the laboratories, startups, and research centers of the real world. Behind this transformation are pioneering companies that are pushing the boundaries of what was once thought possible, each approaching the challenge from a unique angle. In 2025, 3 names stand out as the most influential players shaping the future of brain-computer interfaces: Neuralink, Synchron, and Kernel. Neuralink is perhaps the most well-known, thanks in part to its founder Elon Musk. Founded in 2016, Neuralink has become synonymous with the ambitious goal of achieving human-AI symbiosis. Its flagship device, known as the Link, is a coin-sized implant surgically embedded into the skull, with ultra-thin electrodes fanning into the brain's cortical tissue. These electrodes are designed to detect electrical activity from thousands of neurons simultaneously, translating thought into actionable commands on a computer. Early human trials, approved in 2023, focused on patients with severe paralysis. By 2025, some participants are texting, playing video games, and even controlling robotic limbs using nothing but their thoughts. Neuralink's vision extends beyond medical applications. Musk envisions a future where the link allows humans to keep pace with artificial intelligence, creating a form of neural enhancement that could redefine human cognition. While Neuralink dominates headlines, Synchron takes a subtler, more surgical approach. Their device, the stent road, is implanted via the bloodstream rather than open brain surgery, reducing risk while still allowing high-precision neural recording. The stent road has already been used successfully in trials for patients with spinal cord injuries, enabling them to control computers and digital devices. Dr. Tom Oxley, Synchron's founder, describes the technology as a digital nervous system extension, rather than a replacement of human consciousness. For Synchron, the goal is enhancement through safety and accessibility, paving the way for broader adoption of BCIs without the risks of invasive brain surgery. Kernel, on the other hand, focuses on non-invasive technologies and cognitive augmentation. Their Flow headset uses near-infrared light and advanced sensors to measure neural activity across different regions of the brain. Kernel isn't just decoding thought. It's measuring attention, memory, and emotional states, translating them into actionable insights. The company's vision is to create tools that enhance human cognition, creativity, and well-being, offering a glimpse of a future where mental performance can be optimized as easily as physical fitness. Other innovators, including BlackRock Neurotech and Precision Neuroscience, are exploring areas like memory restoration, sensory enhancement, and communication for patients with locked-in syndromes. BlackRock Neurotech, for instance, has developed implants that allow paralyzed patients to regain control over prosthetic limbs and communicate through computer interfaces, while Precision Neuroscience focuses on recording and stimulating neurons to treat degenerative conditions like Alzheimer's disease. What unites all these companies is a shared belief that the human mind is not static. It is a platform. Each neural signal carries potential, and with the right interface, thought can become digital action. These companies are not merely building devices. They are laying the foundation for a new era in which humans can interact with machines at the speed of thought. Yet, as promising as this progress is, it also raises questions about accessibility, ethics, and power. Who will have the ability to enhance their minds? What happens when neural data is hacked, manipulated, or commercialized? These companies are navigating uncharted ethical territory while pioneering a technology that could redefine humanity itself. By 2025, the work of Neuralink, Synchron, Kernel, and their peers is more than experimental. It is transformative. They are proving that the dream of connecting mind and machine is not just possible. It is inevitable. As their devices evolve, we move closer to a future where human cognition is no longer confined by biology, and where the boundary between thought and action, human and machine, becomes increasingly blurred. For centuries, humanity has been obsessed with understanding what consciousness truly is. Philosophers have called it the hard problem, the mystery of how mere biological matter gives rise to awareness, thought, and emotion. But as technology advances and brain-computer interfaces grow more sophisticated, that mystery is beginning to merge with possibility. We are entering an era where human thought can be translated into digital code, where the dream of digital consciousness, once reserved for science fiction, is starting to take form in scientific reality. At its core, the path toward digital consciousness begins with data, specifically the data of the human mind. Every thought, memory, and emotion is encoded in the brain's neural network through complex patterns of electrical and chemical activity. These signals form the code of consciousness, even if we don't yet fully understand how it works. The challenge for neuroscientists and technologists is to map and replicate this code with enough precision to recreate the essence of the self in a machine. The first step toward that goal is neural mapping. Using advanced imaging techniques like fMRI, MEG, and high-resolution electrode arrays, scientists can now observe brain activity in unprecedented detail. Each thought produces a unique pattern of activation, a neural fingerprint. With machine learning, computers can begin to recognize and predict these patterns, essentially learning to read thoughts. Early versions of this technology already allow researchers to reconstruct simple images people are viewing or decode the emotional tone of their thoughts. As the resolution of brain imaging improves, these fingerprints could eventually be recorded and replicated digitally, forming the building blocks of a mind-machine copy. The next step is neural modeling, creating a digital framework that mimics the architecture of the brain itself. The Human Connectome Project and initiatives like Blue Brain are attempting to digitally reconstruct entire neural systems, neuron by neuron, synapse by synapse. By simulating how each part of the brain interacts with the rest, scientists hope to create an accurate virtual model of consciousness. In theory, once that model reaches sufficient complexity and fidelity, it could not just simulate thought but actually experience it. This idea, known as mind uploading, envisions a future where a person's entire mental structure, their memories, emotions, and identity, could be transferred into a digital substrate. It's a concept that has fascinated transhumanists and futurists alike. Imagine a world where death is not the end but a transition, where your consciousness could be preserved in a virtual realm, capable of thinking, feeling, and evolving independent of your biological body. But the journey from thought to code is far from straightforward. Consciousness is not just data. It's also context, the living, embodied experience of being. Simply copying the brain's information may not capture the subjective self. Philosophers ask, would a digital copy truly be you, or just a simulation that thinks it is you? Would your consciousness continue seamlessly into the machine, or would a new one awaken in your place? These questions blur the line between science and metaphysics, forcing us to confront what it means to exist. Technologically, the hurdles are immense. The human brain contains roughly 100 trillion synaptic connections, more than all the stars in the Milky Way. Mapping and simulating them all would require computing power far beyond today's capabilities. Yet progress in quantum computing and artificial intelligence is accelerating faster than ever, and some experts believe a complete digital brain simulation could emerge within this century. The fusion of neuroscience, AI, and computing is guiding us toward a radical new frontier, digital consciousness, where the mind transcends biology and becomes software. It may begin as a medical tool, a way to preserve memories or restore damaged cognition. But eventually, it could evolve into something much greater, a form of existence beyond flesh and bone, where humanity itself becomes a network of living minds, encoded in light and silicon. The path from thought to code is no longer just a dream. It's a roadmap, and every discovery brings us closer to understanding not only how the brain works, but what it truly means to be. As the boundary between human and machine continues to dissolve, the question is no longer can we merge the mind with technology, but should we? The pursuit of digital consciousness carries not only the promise of transcendence, but also a shadow of profound ethical and existential uncertainty. Every advancement brings us closer to reshaping what it means to be human, and to confronting questions our ancestors could never have imagined. One of the most pressing dilemmas is identity. If a person uploads their consciousness into a computer, is the resulting entity truly them, or merely a perfect replica? Does continuity of memory equal continuity of self? Philosophers call this the copy problem. A digital duplicate might believe it's you, remember your past, and think your thoughts, but you, the biological version, would still exist. Which one is real? Which one has rights? These are not hypothetical questions anymore. They lie at the heart of the conversation about digital immortality. Closely tied to identity is the issue of mortality. Death has always been the great equalizer, shaping the human experience and giving meaning to life. But what happens when death becomes optional? If consciousness can be stored, restored, or replicated indefinitely, does life lose its urgency? Does immortality rob existence of its soul? Some argue that without the finite nature of life, emotions like love, purpose, and sacrifice might fade into abstraction. Others believe that freeing humanity from death could spark a renaissance of creativity and exploration beyond imagination. Beyond philosophy, there are the ethical and social implications of who controls this technology. If neural data becomes digitized, who owns it? A person's thoughts are the most private aspect of their being. Yet in a world of mind-machine interfaces, those thoughts could, in theory, be recorded, analyzed, and even manipulated. Imagine a future where corporations or governments could access memories, predict behavior, or implant suggestions directly into the brain. The idea of hacking the mind moves from metaphor to terrifying possibility. Protecting mental privacy may become the most important human right of the 21st century. Equally urgent is the issue of inequality. Like most technologies, access to neural enhancement will not be evenly distributed. The wealthy could afford to upgrade their cognition, memory, or lifespan, while others remain bound by biological limitations. This could give rise to a new class divide between the enhanced and the unenhanced, the digital elite and the organic majority. Such disparities could reshape economies, politics, and even human evolution itself, creating a kind of cognitive aristocracy. Then there is the matter of ethics in consciousness creation. If a digital mind feels, thinks, and suffers, does it deserve rights? Could deleting a conscious program be considered murder? What responsibilities would humanity have toward artificial consciousnesses that arise from our own designs? These questions echo the moral anxieties of past revolutions, slavery, animal rights, and artificial intelligence. Only this time, the beings in question may share our memories and personalities. Finally, the existential dilemma. What happens when humans and machines truly merge? Will consciousness expand into a collective, interconnected network, a hive mind of sorts, or will individuality dissolve? Will we still dream, create art, and seek meaning, or will those human experiences evolve into something unrecognizable? The merging of mind and machine represents both the ultimate act of human ingenuity and the ultimate test of our wisdom. It forces us to redefine concepts like self, soul, freedom, and morality in the context of technology that transcends flesh. Humanity stands at a precipice. On one side lies unimaginable potential, the end of disease, the expansion of knowledge, perhaps even immortality. On the other lies the risk of losing what makes us human, our vulnerability, our imperfection, and our ability to find beauty in the fleeting nature of existence. In the end, the question we must confront is not just what can we do with this power, but who will we become once we wield it? The story of human evolution has always been a story of adaptation. From the first tools that extended our reach to the written word that preserved our memory, every leap forward has been a collaboration between biology and technology. But now, in the 21st century, that collaboration is transforming into a true fusion. The next stage of evolution may not involve physical mutation at all, but a cognitive awakening. We are witnessing the birth of the new human, beings whose minds extend beyond their skulls, enhanced by digital intelligence and interconnected in ways that redefine individuality. Cognitive enhancement lies at the core of this transformation. Brain-computer interfaces, once developed to restore lost function, are now being adapted to expand human potential. Imagine a future where memory is limitless, where your brain can instantly recall every book you've read, every lesson you've learned, every experience you've ever had. Or imagine uploading complex skills directly into your neural network, learning a new language or mastering a musical instrument in minutes instead of years. These capabilities, once fantasy, are inching closer to reality through the convergence of neural implants, AI-driven learning algorithms, and neuroplasticity research. Enhancement isn't limited to memory and skill. The frontier of emotional and creative augmentation is already being explored. By decoding neural pathways associated with focus, empathy, or inspiration, scientists aim to fine-tune the very fabric of consciousness. Artists could channel imagination directly into digital canvases. Scientists could visualize theories beyond the limits of current cognition. In essence, technology could unlock new states of mind, states that merge logic and emotion, intellect and intuition. But perhaps the most radical aspect of the new human age will be shared consciousness. Once brain networks can communicate seamlessly through digital interfaces, individuals may begin to connect directly, mind to mind. Early experiments already allow limited brain-to-brain communication between humans, using BCIs to transmit simple thoughts or signals. Extrapolate this a few decades forward, and it's easy to envision a world where collective intelligence becomes reality. Groups of people linked through a shared neural network, thinking and creating as one vast cognitive organism. Such a development could revolutionize every aspect of civilization. Decision-making could become instantaneous, empathy could deepen through shared experience, and entire societies could function as unified systems of thought. This global brain concept, where humanity operates as a distributed consciousness, has long been a philosophical and scientific ideal. It could usher in an age of unparalleled cooperation and understanding. Yet it could also raise new questions about identity and freedom. In a world where thoughts can be shared, will privacy still exist? Will individuality survive? Or will the boundaries between minds dissolve into a collective awareness? For some, this vision represents enlightenment, the ultimate union of humanity. For others, it evokes dystopian fears of control, conformity, and loss of the self. Despite the uncertainty, one truth remains clear: cognitive evolution is inevitable. The same curiosity that drove our ancestors to light their first fires now drives us to ignite the neurons of a connected, amplified mind. The tools we are building, neural implants, artificial intelligence, quantum computing, are not just inventions. They are extensions of our very being, reflections of our endless drive to reach beyond limitation. The new human will not be defined by metal limbs or digital eyes, but by an expanded consciousness, an awareness that spans both biological and synthetic realms. This evolution won't happen overnight. It will emerge gradually as we integrate technology not just into our hands and pockets, but into our very thoughts. And as the boundaries between humans and machines fade, we may come to realize that the next phase of evolution isn't about replacing humanity. It's about revealing what we've always been capable of. The fusion of mind and machine is not the end of the human story. It is the next chapter, a chapter where thought becomes creation, individuality becomes unity, and consciousness itself becomes infinite. The story of human evolution has always been a story of adaptation. From the first tools that extended our reach to the written word that preserved our memory, every leap forward has been a collaboration between biology and technology. But now, in the 21st century, that collaboration is transforming into a true fusion. The next stage of evolution may not involve physical mutation at all, but a cognitive awakening. We are witnessing the birth of the new human, beings whose minds extend beyond their skulls, enhanced by digital intelligence and interconnected in ways that redefine individuality. Cognitive enhancement lies at the core of this transformation. Brain-computer interfaces, once developed to restore lost function, are now being adapted to expand human potential. Imagine a future where memory is limitless, where your brain can instantly recall every book you've read, every lesson you've learned, every experience you've ever had. Or imagine uploading complex skills directly into your neural network, learning a new language or mastering a musical instrument in minutes instead of years. These capabilities, once fantasy, are inching closer to reality through the convergence of neural implants, AI-driven learning algorithms, and neuroplasticity research. Enhancement isn't limited to memory and skill. The frontier of emotional and creative augmentation is already being explored. By decoding neural pathways associated with focus, empathy, or inspiration, scientists aim to fine-tune the very fabric of consciousness. Artists could channel imagination directly into digital canvases. Scientists could visualize theories beyond the limits of current cognition. In essence, technology could unlock new states of mind, states that merge logic and emotion, intellect and intuition. But perhaps the most radical aspect of the new human age will be shared consciousness. Once brain networks can communicate seamlessly through digital interfaces, individuals may begin to connect directly, mind to mind. Early experiments already allow limited brain-to-brain communication between humans, using BCIs to transmit simple thoughts or signals. Extrapolate this a few decades forward, and it's easy to envision a world where collective intelligence becomes reality. Groups of people linked through a shared neural network, thinking and creating as one vast cognitive organism. Such a development could revolutionize every aspect of civilization. Decision-making could become instantaneous, empathy could deepen through shared experience, and entire societies could function as unified systems of thought. This global brain concept, where humanity operates as a distributed consciousness, has long been a philosophical and scientific ideal. It could usher in an age of unparalleled cooperation and understanding. Yet it could also raise new questions about identity and freedom. In a world where thoughts can be shared, will privacy still exist? Will individuality survive? Or will the boundaries between minds dissolve into a collective awareness? For some, this vision represents enlightenment, the ultimate union of humanity. For others, it evokes dystopian fears of control, conformity, and loss of the self. Despite the uncertainty, one truth remains clear: cognitive evolution is inevitable. The same curiosity that drove our ancestors to light their first fires now drives us to ignite the neurons of a connected, amplified mind. The tools we are building, neural implants, artificial intelligence, quantum computing, are not just inventions. They are extensions of our very being, reflections of our endless drive to reach beyond limitation. The new human will not be defined by metal limbs or digital eyes, but by an expanded consciousness, an awareness that spans both biological and synthetic realms. This evolution won't happen overnight. It will emerge gradually as we integrate technology not just into our hands and pockets, but into our very thoughts. And as the boundaries between humans and machines fade, we may come to realize that the next phase of evolution isn't about replacing humanity. It's about revealing what we've always been capable of. The fusion of mind and machine is not the end of the human story. It is the next chapter, a chapter where thought becomes creation, individuality becomes unity, and consciousness itself becomes infinite. For thousands of years, humanity has sought to understand what lies beyond the physical brain, the seat of consciousness, the source of awareness, and the essence of the soul. Religion, mysticism, and philosophy have all tried to define it, each in their own way. Now, technology has entered the conversation. With the rise of brain-computer interfaces and the prospect of digital consciousness, we are not only exploring the mechanics of the mind, but also stepping into sacred territory once reserved for gods, mystics, and prophets. At its core, the question is both thrilling and terrifying. If we can copy the contents of the brain, memories, emotions, thoughts, and store them on a computer, have we captured the soul? Or have we merely created an illusion of it, a hollow reflection that mimics life without true awareness? Some scientists argue that consciousness is nothing more than complex information processing, that once we replicate the brain's neural patterns digitally, awareness will naturally emerge. Others, however, believe there is something ineffable about human experience, something beyond the sum of neurons. If consciousness is rooted in a spiritual energy or divine spark, then no machine, no matter how advanced, could ever truly replicate it. This debate brings ancient philosophy face to face with modern science. Buddhist and Hindu teachings, for example, have long described the mind as an interconnected field of awareness, one that transcends the physical body. In a strange twist, today's neural network technologies echo those spiritual concepts. The internet itself has become a metaphor for collective consciousness. Billions of minds connected, exchanging information at the speed of light, forming a digital web of thought. And yet, with every technological advance, new questions arise. If we can one day upload our consciousness, will that digital self have moral agency? Will it feel pain, joy, or love? Or will it be a perfect simulation? A ghost with no soul? Some spiritual thinkers see this convergence as a kind of technological enlightenment, where humanity evolves into a higher state of being. They imagine a future in which consciousness merges with machines not as a loss of spirit, but as its ultimate liberation, a step closer to divine omnipresence. A mind that can exist everywhere, in every device, connected to every other mind. The dream of unity, long spoken of in sacred texts, realized through circuits and code, but others warn that this path risks severing the very connection that makes us human. In the rush to digitize the soul, we may forget what it means to feel, to live in a body, to experience the world through senses and emotion. The machine may preserve our memories, but will it preserve our humanity? As we stand at the edge of this new spiritual frontier, one truth becomes clear. Technology alone cannot define the soul. Whether the future leads to a transcendent union between mind and machine, or a haunting echo of consciousness trapped in silicon, depends not just on what we build, but on what we believe. Perhaps, in the end, the real revolution is not in wiring the brain to computers, but in expanding our understanding of what consciousness truly is. Something both infinite and intimate, bridging science and spirit in ways we are only beginning to comprehend. The future of mind-machine integration isn't a distant dream. It's already happening piece by piece, in labs, hospitals, and tech startups across the world. Every year brings a new milestone that edges us closer to a world where thoughts, technology, and identity merge into one seamless continuum. Today, brain-computer interfaces, BCIs, are still in their early stages, primarily focused on medical applications. Paralyzed patients can move robotic arms with their minds. Blind individuals can see outlines through visual cortex implants, and people suffering from depression are finding hope in neural stimulation therapies. What once seemed miraculous is becoming routine. These breakthroughs are the foundation stones of something far greater, a coming era where the brain communicates effortlessly with machines. But the pace is accelerating. Elon Musk's Neuralink has demonstrated wireless brain implants that record neural activity with astonishing precision. Synchron's stent-rod implant is inserted through the bloodstream, avoiding invasive surgery altogether. Researchers at Stanford are using AI to decode brain signals into full sentences in real time. Each development shrinks the gap between human intention and machine execution. Soon, this technology will move beyond medicine. Imagine controlling your smartphone, car, or home devices through thought. Imagine virtual reality experiences indistinguishable from real life because your brain can't tell the difference. Imagine education delivered directly into your neural pathways, allowing you to learn complex skills in seconds. These possibilities are no longer theoretical. They are being designed, tested, and patented right now. Yet, as with every revolution, the road ahead is uneven and uncertain. The promise of limitless potential is shadowed by the peril of exploitation. If data is the new gold, then neural data, the raw thoughts and emotions of a human being, is the most precious and dangerous resource of all. Who will own your thoughts when they can be recorded? Who decides what memories are real when they can be edited or erased? This is why governments and ethicists are racing to define what's being called neurorights, the legal protection of mental privacy, cognitive liberty, and personal identity in a world where technology can reach directly into the mind. Chile became the first nation to enshrine neurorights into its constitution, setting a precedent the rest of the world will soon need to follow. The question is no longer about technological feasibility, it's about moral responsibility. The next decade will likely see the first generation of hybrid humans, people living with brain interfaces that enhance memory, focus, and perception. These individuals will challenge how society defines fairness, intelligence, and even consciousness itself. Will a connected mind have advantages over an unenhanced one? And if so, what happens to those who can't or won't join the network? Still, the potential for good is staggering. Imagine a planet where knowledge flows freely between minds, where collaboration transcends language and distance, and where consciousness itself becomes a shared frontier. The merging of biology and technology could give birth to a civilization more connected, empathetic, and creative than ever before. The road ahead is neither purely scientific nor purely spiritual. It is both. We are not just building smarter machines. We are building mirrors that reflect what we truly are. The integration of mind and machine will test the limits of our ethics, our faith, and our imagination. The future of consciousness isn't waiting for us. It's unfolding here and now, and whether it leads to transcendence or tragedy depends entirely on one question. Can we evolve our wisdom as fast as we evolve our technology? As we stand on the threshold of a new epoch, the boundary between mind and machine grows thinner by the day. What began as an effort to heal, to restore movement, vision, and speech, has evolved into something far more profound, the redefinition of consciousness itself. Humanity is no longer just exploring outer space. We're charting the inner universe of thought, perception, and identity. The fusion of biology and technology challenges everything we know about life and death, self and soul. It forces us to ask, are we creators shaping tools, or are we birthing a new form of being? One that will one day surpass us. For some, the integration of mind and machine is the next step in evolution, a bridge to immortality and collective intelligence. For others, it is a dangerous gamble with the very essence of humanity. But one truth remains undeniable. Consciousness is no longer confined to the brain. It's expanding, flowing into data, circuitry, and digital realms that mirror our own awareness. Whether that expansion leads to enlightenment or loss depends not on the machines we build, but on the values guiding us as we build them. The future of consciousness is not merely technological, it's philosophical, ethical, and spiritual. And perhaps, as we connect our minds to machines, we'll discover that the greatest network we can ever create is not between computers, but between each other.